From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 23rd, 2019. The Israeli teenager murdered in a terror attack this morning was laid to rest this afternoon in her hometown of Lod. 17-year-old Rina Shenurb was hiking with her family at a natural spring outside the Jewish settlement of Dolev in the West Ridge, also referred to as the West Bank, when a bomb exploded. It was initially reported that the bomb was thrown from a moving vehicle at the family, but later Israel police said they believed terrorists had planted the explosive device at the site earlier and then remotely detonated it when the family approached. Rina was critically wounded from the explosion. Medics called to the scene were forced to pronounce her death. Her father, Rabbi Eitan Shenurb, and 19-year-old brother Dvir were airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. Speaking to reporters from his hospital bed tonight, Rabbi Shenurb, who served as a medic in an IDF brigade, said he had experienced similar situations before. He said they were hit by a very big roadside bomb, saying everything went black. And he heard his son shouting to him and then called out to his daughter and realized she was no longer alive. Addressing his daughter's funeral by phone from his hospital bed, Shenurb said, "Our response to the murderers is that we are here and we are strong and we will prevail." Israeli security services, meanwhile, were searching for those responsible for the attack and reportedly were tracking a car that fled the scene shortly after the explosion. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said security forces are in pursuit of the vile terrorists. "We will reach them. Our long arm will pay them their dues." No terror group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack, but Hamas praised it, saying it was, quote, proof of the vitality and bravery of the Palestinian people and of the fact that it will not surrender to the crimes and terrorism of the occupation, unquote. U.S. Special Representative for International Negotiations Jason Greenblatt tweeted his condolences to the people of Israel, calling the attack savage. He demanded the Palestinian Authority unequivocally condemn the attack, among others. If they don't, he wrote, donor countries should demand the PA answer for why their donor funds continue to be used to reward attacks. U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman tweeted he was heartbroken and outraged, and Jewish organizations shared their grief over the brutal attack. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Dani Danon, sent the UN Security Council president a letter demanding they condemn the murder, which he said is being glorified in Palestinian social media. Danon said the international community must join Israel in our struggle against terrorism. This is the most justified fight. The international community, he said, needs to join it and condemn not only the murder, but also the culture of incitement and salaries paid to murderers. By the way, JBS reached out to the congressional offices of Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, who recently made anti-Israel remarks, to ask if they would issue condemnation of the attack or a comment. We have not heard back from their offices as of yet. Turning now to Gaza, over 8,000 Palestinians gathered at the Gaza border fence with Israel today, with some throwing grenades, Molotov cocktails, and stones towards IDF troops. The IDF responded with tear gas and reportedly live fire when needed. Palestinian reports say dozens of rioters were injured. The Jerusalem Post reports that several people, possibly children, breached the border fence but quickly returned to the Gazan side. Last night, a Palestinian man hurled grenades at IDF soldiers as he approached the fence in an apparent breach attempt. The soldiers opened fire, injuring the man, later releasing video showing him wearing a military-style vest and holding a gun, appearing to throw explosives and fire grenades with a launcher towards the troops. Israel has extended an offer of assistance to the people of Brazil. Israel's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yisrael Katz, tweeted in English and in Portuguese, "Hopes and prayers are with the people of Brazil and its president, Jair Bolsonaro, as they are bravely fighting the wildfires raging across the Amazon." He wrote, Israel is ready to support the Brazilian efforts in every possible way. The Jerusalem Post reports that an IDF veteran is making a run for Congress. 47-year-old Shlomo Nitzachon, whose last name, by the way, means victory in English, was born and raised in Kfar Saba, then moved with his mother to the U.S., returning to Israel when he was 18 to do his military service. He announced to the Post exclusively his bid to become a Republican representative for Florida's 23rd district next year. Nitzachon said if elected, he would focus on tackling hate speech on campuses and incitement for terror on social media. When asked about the recent tweet from President Trump regarding Jews who vote Democrat, Nitzachon said Israel should remain separated from the Bibi, referring there to Netanyahu, Trump question, because leaders change and the state remains. And I think, he said, no matter which leader is in office, the support for Israel should be strong. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, August the 23rd. Kabbalat Shabbat services are coming up at 7 from the Hampton Synagogue, followed by Friday night services from Central Synagogue. Then at 9, the film Purple Lawns. At 10, Harvard professor Dan Gilbert talks about happiness. At 10:30, it's Muzika with Israeli singer-songwriter Tamar. And coming up right after this newscast, Rabbi Ken Spiro talks about 6 Jewish values that revolutionized world thinking. And then it's a look at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 23rd, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.